It's time to go beyond the headlines, cause I don't put in overtime just so I can headline. Okay, now it's Fox Sports, I'm live with Renee. Going hard every day, sports rapping every play. Different segments for your favorites, coming at you daily with positive vibes, yeah, we some game changers. Basketball, football, soccer, with different interviews, you never know who may pop up. Listen, only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines. Only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines. Only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines with Renee Washington.
Joining us on Beyond the Headlines with Renee Washington from Portugal, we've got Travante Williams, a professional basketball player overseas. Travante, welcome to the show.
Hey. Thanks for having me.
I am happy to have you here. And before we even get started, I've been asking everyone, so I have to ask you too. What is your new normal around COVID-19, especially since you're in Portugal? I'm curious to know what your new normal is, what life is like now dealing with the coronavirus.
Typical day for me is sleeping in all day, waking up, trying to get something in throughout the day, like some sort of workout, eating Netflix, try to teach myself something. I've been reading books, trying to get with a lot of different things. So that's been my COVID-19 story.
I like that. I mean, Netflix right now or Hulu, whatever streaming app you have, I feel like everyone is binge watching. I know I'm binge watching some shows right now. That is definitely part of the new normal. Whatever else you're doing, somehow it involves Netflix, Hulu, binge watching. So yes.
Yeah, those are the best things right now. Those are the best things.
Oh yeah. Ozark and Money Heist. That's my shows right now.
I just finished Money Heist. I was tapping into Ozark, but we couldn't get it there. I couldn't stay all the way in.
Oh, no way. Money Heist. I'm on season. What am I on? Season 2 for Money Heist, and I just started the last season for Ozark. It's good.
Yeah, everybody talks about Ozark. Everybody talks about Ozark.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it another shot. If you say it's good, I'm gonna give it another shot.
You know what? It is good. It makes me mad. So that's partly why I keep watching is, and this is not a spoiler at all, to see how they're gonna get out of all this.
Yeah.
I mean, from the first episode, they're into drugs and working with the Mexican cartel. So that's not a spoiler at all. But I'm just curious, like, how this is all gonna unfold. And it's just, it's good. It definitely makes me mad though, because there's at times I want to reach through and like smack someone or something, because I'm like, some of these things could be avoided. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
All right. I'm trusting you right now, so I might give it a shot tonight. I'm gonna give it a shot tonight.
There you go.
Like that. You talking like that? It sounds good.
It is good. It's good. And you know what? I like Narcos. A lot of shows I watch involve for some reason the Mexican cartel. So this was actually good because it's similar to all that, but a different take on it, because it's like there's white picket fence family. So yeah, I think you should give it another shot. That's all I'm saying.
All right. I trust you. I'm trusting you right now.
Oh boy. That's a lot of pressure. All right. So I have to ask. I'm going to get into your career. And the first thing that stood out to me is you went to the University of Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska Fairbanks. I'm born and raised in Anchorage, Alaska. But then I went to college elsewhere. I went to college in California. I also went to university in Colorado, Adams State. And then from there, I went back after my junior year in Adams State in Colorado. I left there and went back to Alaska for my senior year because I wanted to be reconnected with my family and play in front of some hometown people.
Okay, first of all, I gotta admit I'm a little embarrassed because I saw AK is Alaska. Darn it, I got my acronyms wrong or my abbreviation wrong. It's okay. So tell us about Alaska. You've been fortunate that basketball has taken you all over the world. So you've experienced a lot of different things. I have no experience with Alaska aside from what I see on TV. So I am so curious to know about Anchorage, Alaska now.
Anchorage, Alaska, man. It's a wonderful place. I like to tell people about it. It's like it's a pot of gumbo when it comes to the people and the diversity that's in there. So I think the whole state it's a real big state. And my city, I'm from East Anchorage, Alaska, and It's nice. I can't really, it's home to me. So that's where all my family's at. They came from New Orleans, came up there, and that's where we've been living like my whole entire life. So
Wow. Okay. So does
yeah.
Anchorage, Alaska have the 30 days of uh
Yeah, something like that. So from like October, roughly, yeah, it's always dark, and
that's
around
crazy.
February, March, that's when you start to begin to get sunlight. In some places, it's like pitch black, but in my city, you only get a couple hours of sunlight throughout that period.
Wow. Wow. I feel like if I was somewhere where it was just dark for extended periods of time, it just feels like it's always nighttime and I probably would really struggle to move. I bet
Oh
I'd
no,
just
it's
like
definitely like that. Don't add no cold weather into it. You add some cold
yeah.
weather into it,
Woo!
it's real bad. It's real bad.
I think I would become a lazy bum because I'd probably just be binge watching Netflix all the time. Like I don't think
Man,
I'd be like the sun. I have to purposely like leave my curtains open so the sun comes in to wake me up because
I
otherwise,
am
if it's
glad.
too dark, it's too comfortable.
I am happy Netflix wasn't around when I was coming up. Like we wasn't on that. You had to get the
I
VHS and all that.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure. Okay, so now you are in Portugal. You are playing basketball overseas professionally. A lot of people, when you think about professional basketball, you forget the fact that you do have to pack up, leave your family, and now you're just spending extended periods of times in a whole new country. So,
Yeah,
can you talk to us about that transition? I know you talked about how you played college basketball and you were in California, you went back to Alaska. So you're used to moving, but
yeah.
moving to Portugal and moving overseas. Can you take us through that journey?
Well, we'll start from the beginning. After college, I initially my first gig that I get to go overseas. I'm in the country of Georgia, near Turkey and stuff, and it's like it's a country it's Eastern Europe, and it's their culture is a little bit different, and
Mm-hmm.
the weather you add all into that. So getting overseas and playing overseas and where you go is like it's placement and weather and where you're at in the situation. That the environment plays a lot into that. So my first little gig that I got out there in Georgia, the experience was cool, but it wasn't necessarily the best situation. And then my first year coming to Portugal, so this is my third year in Portugal. So my first year coming here, I was greeted with open arms, and it was like a loving culture, and the people were so nice, and I had a couple Americans that I really gelled with. So everything from that point, it was like an extended family. So I didn't really have
Mm-hmm.
too many like you're going 10 months not seeing your family. So when you get back home, you're like, oh my God, I miss my family. I don't want to leave. And then you get back on the job, and then you're like, okay, you have people that are there with you, and it's another family. So you have to balance that. But it's definitely a tough thing to do. And I know a lot of people struggle with that, and that's why, they go back home and stuff like that. So it's not
Yeah.
for everybody.
No, no. Honestly, I know for me, when I was going through the process in soccer and, I was getting the opportunity to play professional soccer in the States, it never even crossed my mind to play overseas because you talk about it not being for everyone. Is not for me. But that's why I'm like, I have so much respect for anyone that is able to continue to pursue their dreams of playing at the highest level. And now you are in a whole different country. But I
Yeah.
do want to talk about the fact that as we talk about basketball opening doors for you, and allowing you to travel, what are some other things that basketball has really allowed you to do and open doors in your life, whether it be socially or learning new cultures, whatever it may be? I don't want to answer for you, but
Yeah.
what types of doors has it opened and opportunities?
I would say first off, well, meeting you and talking to you, that's where basketball has brought me here.
There you
So,
go.
but
Oh.
other things like that, I'm here with Renee. So everything, I must be doing something right. But for the most part, it's really the relationships that I've built throughout this time, throughout my journey, and that's part of the thing that I preach with it's just it's interesting because in the midst of it, it's not even a job anymore. It's just this thing that I do. It's just like my life, and like being in this situation now where we're not even playing, and I'm not,
Hmm.
there's no basketball going on. It brings you to a position where you really like you're really grateful for the situation, and you're grateful for everything that you've been through. So going back to what you asked me about, just the relationships that I've built, the things that I've been able to see, and when I look at as when I'm going through it, it kind of doesn't seem like that big of a deal. but I talk to other people who've never experienced or never even been close to seeing the things that I've seen based on what basketball has given me. So it's just a credit to basketball and the sport in itself, and just, you know, life and how it played out for me.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the things I love about sports is the fact that you do have so many opportunities that come from being an athlete, opportunities to meet people, to travel, to learn life skills. It does open so many doors for you that whatever direction you take your career, whether you continue to play as you're doing professionally or you decide to, shift into another industry, another role,
Yeah.
everything translates from one to the next.
Mm, yeah.
You know?
Especially when you're traveling, and you get to experience different cultures. That gives you that experience that helps you with throughout life, and it just helps you with your communication, how you
Mm-hmm.
deal with people, because not everybody, you become more patient. That's one thing I learned. I developed from being overseas, just my patience. I understand that, you know, people are going to stare at you. They're going to, you know, they may not know, and it's out of curiosity, and it's not everything needs to result in, like, you know, confrontation or anything like that. So that's been a big help as well.
Do you find that, especially as an American being overseas, do people like they recognize you're an American right away, I'm assuming, and you're black, so on top of that.
Yeah.
But do you find that a lot of people are curious? Like, what's the
It's
racial
interesting.
acceptance like for you? I
It's
guess is the question.
interesting because, and I right now I'm staying in a more diverse place when it comes to black culture and stuff like that. There's a lot of African people here, and it's more accepted. So I'm not noticed as much. But when I was in the North, I noticed, like, you can be, like, being an American was easy. You can be spotted out. You're still spotted out here because you're a basketball player, and, you know, people know you and the stuff. So, but it's more accepting out here being black. It's like people are, you know, it's you see more black people for on the day to day. Up in
Mm-hmm.
the North, you don't really see that many people. So it changes. But yeah, over here, the people are pretty cool. I wouldn't say I experienced too many problems or anything like that. A couple slick comments, but that's not their crazy. Older people, you know, that's everywhere.
That is absolutely everywhere. You don't have to leave
Yeah,
your backyard. I mean, you could stay in Alaska
yeah, to
or
see all
wherever.
that.
For me in Jersey, like you can stay wherever you are and hear some slick comments. But
Yeah.
I'm curious to know. First, we're going to start off in languages. Have you learned any new languages? Have you dabbled in them? Are you learning anything new?
Fala português bocado. Meu nome é
Oh,
Travante Williams, jogador de Sporting. Yeah, you know, I've been brushing up. It's my third year out here, so in order to get around and make things easier on yourself, you touch up with the language. There's a couple apps that I use to, you know, help build that. Look at some couple books, and just being around people, and kind of, you know, there's a lot of guys that get out here in these situations, and you have two choices. You can kind of like you can take what you're getting right now and you just deal with it, be to yourself, and kind of work this like a job, you know, or you can come in with the mindset is like everybody's a resource and you can tap into, you know, you just got to tap into it. So I kind of took that approach with my personality and who I am. So when I meet people and I bounce into things, that's how I learn from there. So just being social and being out there, that's, you know, you pick up on the language that way as well. So that's how I've been learning and developing.
that's awesome. That's awesome. I speak Spanish, so I recognize what you're saying.
Okay, okay.
All right, so places then. You talk about traveling, and something that I love for anyone that I know that's lived overseas or is from another country that I'm friends with, and they talk about the ability to get up, like we are able to get up in our car, and I could just drive to New York, or I could drive to DC, whatever. You are able to get into a train, a car, whatever, and easily just travel to another spot in Europe or what other country within the continent. So I'm curious to know where are or what are the top, let's say, maybe three or four
Yeah.
places that you've been able to travel, not only just while you're overseas, but maybe in general through basketball, throughout the course of your career that you've gone to that was like jaw dropping, incredible.
Okay. Well, we'll just do the whole career. First, I think I would say Portugal for sure. Portugal's been like,
Okay.
there's a couple of places that there's these islands off of Portugal that are just, they're part of Portugal as well, and they're just amazing. So I would have to count Cabo Madeira Island and Azores Island as two of the top things that I've been to. I've also been to Kosovo last summer for a 3-on-3 tournament with FIBA
Where is
3-on-3
that?
tournament. That is what is that? Kosovo. That is Pristina. That is, I don't know where it is, but they have a statue of Bill Clinton out there, so that they're down.
Yeah.
But it's Eastern Europe as well. I think it's it's near all those countries over there. But
Okay.
Kosovo was pretty dope. I've been to Spain. I've been to Madrid. Madrid was dope. Where else is basketball taking me? Yeah, those are my hot spots right now that I can think of. Those are my hot spots.
Okay. So I mean, with coronavirus shutting things down.
Oh, it's slowing me down. It's slowing me down. I would have hit up. Algarve, Portugal, Portimao. That is amazing. So I've basketball has taken me all throughout Portugal. I've done all Portugal, but
wow.
So it's allowed me to take be all throughout the whole country. So the last 3 years have been dope from the basketball standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So have you ever? I mean, I'm sure you have, but for you, have you gone through the process of trying to get into G League, the NBA? Like, what's been that? What has that been like for you? Because I know there are a lot of people that would prefer to be overseas versus in the G League, for instance. It's a different type of atmosphere, pay, the way you're treated, and everything as a professional. So I'm curious to know, for you, having been in Portugal for a few years now, is that somewhere that you Portugal's where you want to stay, or you want to continue to try to get into a different country, a different league, whatever it may be?
And you know what? That's the question you think to yourself all the time. It's just like there's a lot of different factors that break into it. You think about the NBA, that's a childhood dream. Everybody wants to play in the NBA. That's where the big money is. That's where the best competition. And the G League being an affiliate is like that's where everything else, that's its cousin. So it's like everything else is right there. So that's always been a thought of mine. Recently, I've just been on a roll over here in Portugal, so I kind of haven't really had too much time to really think, outside of that. But it's always been a goal. That's always been a dream. So for me, I think my career and where I want to take it has always been about challenging myself on every level. I've won 2 championships out here. I've not saying that's I've accomplished everything there is to accomplish or anything in this country, but I've won that, and I think that for me personally, I want to play against the best. I want to see myself on the highest stages. I want to be around the biggest lights, because that's when I've seen myself, perform the best. That's the challenge I've set out for myself. So when it comes to that, I just want to keep going with the flow and trusting that everything I do, I'm making the right moves and they're just going to pop up, and that's how it's going to happen.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you're definitely doing all the right things. And of course, just making the most of every opportunity to appreciate it in that moment versus overthinking and, maybe some people sometimes get too caught up in what's next that you forget where you are right now. You got
to stay in the present. You got to stay in the present.
Yes. Yeah.
It'll go by fast. It goes by just right now. This whole season went by fast, and now it's taken away. So it's like, it's better to just appreciate it while it's there. There's a lot of things that happen, and, you just have to control what you can control.
Yeah. Nothing's ever guaranteed, and nothing is permanent. So you want to make the most of it in that moment. So where can our listeners follow you as you continue your career and your journey to follow up on all your content?
Well, I'm on Instagram at Well Connected Alaska. That's I'm on Twitter at Well Connected AK, Facebook Travante Williams. Follow me on YouTube. I don't even think I even have any YouTube. I do have a YouTube channel, but I don't think I don't really post anything. But I've been looking to do that. You know what I mean? So I've been looking to
maybe now's a great time to start.
You know what? Corona got me cupped in. It might be there's a blessing in the sky. So I'm on YouTube, Travante Williams. Go look at my highlight tapes to make sure I'm, kind of cool and I'm all right at this basketball stuff. So, yeah, that's what it is.
Yes, and you're going to probably end up building out your YouTube channel now during COVID-19. There you go.
Thanks to your help. Between
watching Ozark, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
But thank you so much, Travante, for joining us on our Beyond the Headlines over Washington this week. It has been a pleasure having you on, hearing about your journey, your traveling, your work, growing up in Alaska. So I appreciate you making time to be on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's been a blessing. I appreciate you.